Hello, everyone, and welcome to ABC All About Canada, a program that informs, educates, and inspires our fellow Filipinos with the interesting and relevant issues happening in the Philippine-Canadian community. I am your host. My name is Rovic Canono, and today our topic, 20 common questions in spouse sponsorship. And our guest is a regulated Canadian immigration consultant for the last 9 years. And she is also the immigration consultant of SNY Immigration. She has been an active member of the Canadian Association of Professional Immigration Consultants. She is serving there as Membership Services Committee. Let us all welcome Sunny Young.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Rovic. Thanks for having me.
Yes, anytime. Good to see you, Sunny. Kamusta?
Okay naman. Medyo
busy lang.
Yes. Busy.
Saan ka ba sa Canada naka-base?
Dito ako actually sa capital city of Alberta, Edmonton. Actually, dito rin malocate yung case processing center ng mga temporary residents at saka caregiver.
Alright, that's good to know. Sa Pilipinas naman, saan ka sa atin?
Sa Pilipinas naman, nasa Iloilo kami talaga. Sa Iloilo ako.
Ano
ako? Ha? Ilonggo.
Oh. Pinanganak ka mo saan?
Pinanganak ako sa San Rafael, Iloilo.
Alright. Okay, so mga tiga Iloilo na gustong pumunta rito, alam mo na kung sinong kukontakin, si Sunny Young from your province.
Actually, magbubukas kami ng office sa Iloilo this coming May. So, uwi ako ng Pinas.
Alright, good luck.
Office.
Good luck and advance congratulations.
Thank you.
Abangan niyo siya. Okay mga kababayan, papasok na po tayo sa napakagandang topic. 20 ito. At sa nakita ko sa initial na listahan, mayroong mga case studies. Alright, 20 common questions in spouse sponsorship. Common question number 1.
So, actually, before ako mag-start, Rovic, mag-share lang ako trivia. Product ako or baby ako ng spouse sponsorship kasi in-sponsor ako ng asawa ko. So, ginawa ko yung aking sponsorship application by myself. So, parang na-encourage ako to maging consultant dahil dito.
That's good. That's good.
Inspired ako doon sa habang binabasa ko yung parang 1 month ako nagbabasa ng spouse sponsorship na guide. So parang sabi ko, wow, maganda itong program na to.
At makakatulong ka sa napakaraming Pilipina.
Tama.
Alright. Okay, pasok na po tayo sa first common question.
Okay, what is spouse sponsorship? Lagi ko itong sinasabi sa client ko na yung itong spouse sponsorship sa ngalan ng pag-ibig. Ika nga, the power of love. So it is one of the categories of a family class where you are married and your sponsor can sponsor you, so you will have your permanent resident status.
So yung inyong asawa, yung partner na may karapatang mag-sponsor, PR or citizen, pwede kayong kunin through this pathway, ang tawag spouse or spousal sponsorship. Alright. So maliwanag yan, ha?
Yes.
Common question number 2.
What is the difference between sponsor and principal applicant? So balik tayo dun sa sponsor. So yung sponsor, yun yung may Canadian citizen or permanent resident status na who is 18 years of age or older and who is legally support a member of the family class to become a permanent resident of Canada. Tapos si principal applicant naman, siya yung, siyempre mag-a-apply siya ng permanent residence, siya yung pinaka-main applicant at siya yung mag-fill out ng mga forms na, kasi usually nagtatanong yung, pag mag-send na kami ng list of requirements, sabi ng client na, yung sponsor ba mag-fill out din ng family information, yung mga ganitong form? Sabi ko, no, hindi. Si principal applicant, so basically siya yung mag-fill out ng form ng generic form, family information, yung Schedule A niya. Yung Schedule A doon, yung mga 10 years addresses niya, at saka personal history. So the only form that the sponsor will sign is the IMM 1344, which is application to sponsor, at saka yung application to sponsor, sponsorship agreement, and undertaking. So doon yung promise ni sponsor na akong bahala sa iyo for 3 years. Yun yung sinasabing undertaking.
Sa financial support, pero pagdating sa love, and forever.
Yes, correct. Oo.
Spousal, kaya
Mahal ka lang.
medyo may may konting love and relationship ang ating pag-uusapan
It
dito.
must be a genuine relationship.
Yes, mga
Tapos
kababayan.
natin mamaya.
So mga kababayan, tandaan ninyo, kung ikaw ang i-sponsoran, ikaw ang Filipino citizen pa lang, ang tawag sa'yo, principal applicant. Okay?
Mhm.
Alright.
Yes.
Okay, so papasok na tayo sa common question number 3.
Number 3, I was sponsored by my previous spouse before. Can I sponsor my new spouse now? So, kung inosponsoran ka ng, tapos nag-divorce kayo kasi nahanap mo yung talagang the one mo, pwede mangyari yun, diba?
Ang bilis kanina, pinag-uusapan lang natin forever.
Bakit mga ba yung bilis ng question?
Sani, maraming reason, di ba? Kung na-sponsor ka, nakapunta ka sa Canada, okay. Pero nagkahiwalay kayo, pwedeng death, pwedeng divorce, pwedeng separation, di ba lang? Legal separation. Or naghiwalay lang kayo, o kahit na walang divorce. So, yun, ang tanong, pwedeng ba siyang yung panibagong, yung na-sponsoran, pwede bang mag-sponsor ulit kung nakakita siya ng panibagong love? Tama ba?
Yes, tama. So doon na mapapasok yung 5-year sponsorship bar for people who were sponsored to come to Canada as a spouse or partner. So kung yung spouse mo, kung kinosponsoran ka ng 5 years ago, during na-receive mo yung permanent residence mo, hindi ka pwede mag-sponsor within 5 years nung na-receive mo yung permanent resident mo. So this rule applies even if you become a Canadian citizen within this 5 year na sinasabi. Kahit nag-citizen ka na, pero nandun ka pa rin sa within 5 year, hindi ka pa rin pwede mag-sponsor.
Alright, so maliwanag mga kababayan, kung ikaw ay na-sponsoran lamang, okay, ang ban mo ay 5 years. Hindi ka pwede mag-sponsor ng panibagong love life, spouse o partner within the 5 years. Maliwanag na maliwanag. Papasok na tayo sa common question number 4.
Okay, number 4. My sponsor had a case a long time ago and it was a drug-related offense. Can he still sponsor me? Yung sagot dito, meron kasi akong client before na tinanong ito. So, it is very important to know kung ano yung conviction ng sponsor mo. Kasi sa question na to, actually yung ginawa ko dito, niretain ko yung client kasi hindi naman siya a bar for a violent crime. Kasi sa question dito na kung drug-related offense lang naman, so pwede mo ma-sponsoran.
Alright, okay. So maliwanag na maliwanag. Ito ba ay pag sinabing long time ago, natatandaan mo ba kung gaano katagal? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years?
Yung kaso niya?
Oo.
10 years ago.
10 years ago, oo. So ano naging result?
Na-approve na. May anak na sila.
Okay, that's good news. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so pwede mag-sponsor kahit na nagkaroon ng drug-related course. Long time ago,
yes.
lang yung merong may violence aspect, okay? Alright.
Violent crime, yes.
Kaya maganda, pag gumagawa kayo mga kababayan ng inyong spouse sponsorship, maganda sa tulong ng isang RCIC. Makakapagbigay sila ng expert advice. Okay, papasok na tayo sa pang-5 common question when you are sponsoring a spouse.
My sponsor is currently studying and he's not working. Is he eligible to sponsor me as his spouse? So, there is no minimum necessary income requirement dito sa spouse sponsorship. What I always do kung nag-aaral pa yung sponsor or not currently working, nag-explain yung sponsor na kung let's say nagda-draft siya ng affidavit or nag-help siya seek siya na from the parents na pwede silang magtulong. They're willing to support while they're starting to build a new family. So they can make an affidavit. Meron akong current client na ginawa ito and then okay naman siya.
Alright, that's good to know. Anyway, currently studying, mali mo, pagdating dito, pwede naman siyang magtrabaho rin, di ba? Kahit na nag-study at yung kanyang sponsor, pwede rin magtrabaho. Tama ba?
Hindi kasi, yung tanong kasi, yung sponsor niya, nag-study pa siya ng, let's say, nag-study siya ng lawyer or nag-aaral pa lang kasi 22 years old or something.
Oh, I see.
Right? So parang hindi siya capable to support the spouse. So that's why sinasabi ko dito na wala siyang minimum necessary income yung spouse sponsorship.
Okay.
And then explain lang na later makasupport naman ako kung magtrabaho na ako, but there are certain documents na we can provide na provide naman yung necessary na kailangan sa pag-asawa nila.
Yan po ang kagandahan kapag meron tulong ng RCIC. Imagine mo ito ay naaprubahan. Tama? Alright. Okay, papasok na po tayo sa number 6 common question.
So my sponsor is in financial assistance for people with disabilities. Can he still sponsor me?
Question muna, bago ituloy yan. Bigyan mo na example ng mga kababayan natin ng disability na nakakatanggap ng financial assistance from the government.
So, yung disability na natatanggap nila is yung, for example,
trabaho.
Na-lay off sa trabaho. Ay, hindi.
Na-aksidente sa trabaho.
Na-aksidente sa trabaho. Tapos, or na-stroke. Tapos, nag-claim siya ng disability claim from the government. So, so dito papasok yung, alamin mo kung ano yung social assistance. Kasi kung nag-claim ka ng social assistance, you cannot sponsor a spouse or any family member. So, yung social assistance, ano ba yung social assistant at saka ano ba yung social assistance at saka hindi considered na social assistance? So, ito na yung papasok dito kung nanghingi ka ng assistance from the government to cover your basic needs like your food, your shelter, clothing, fuel, utilities, household supplies, or yung mga healthcare mo na hindi covered ng public healthcare. So tapos, ano naman yung hindi social assistance? So ito yung employment insurance. Yung employment insurance kasi binabayaran mo to eh. Tapos yung nag-ask ka ng student loan, hindi siya social assistance. Immigration loans, hindi rin siya social assistance. Subsidized housing or tax credits, healthcare subsidies, public healthcare services, yung province mo nagbibigay ng lahat ito sa mga tao na, for example, sa Alberta. Or other benefits widely available to residents including people who are working. Pasensya na yung aso namin ng...
Ang cute na eh. We love dogs,
Yeah.
So ganun, maliwanag. Kapag social assistance, hindi ka po pwedeng mag-sponsor. Pero kapag non-social assistance ang natatanggap mo, katulad ng disability, pwede kang mag-sponsor. Tama?
Yes, correct.
Right. So, ang short answer dito sa number 6,
yes.
Kung ikaw ay sponsor na tumatanggap ng financial assistance because of disability, ikaw ay makaka-sponsor. Very good. Maliwanag. Papasok na tayo sa common question number 7.
So, I have 3 children from my previous spouse. Can I still bring them to Canada with me?
Okay, kakalaruhin ko lang. So, ang nagtatanong na to, nasa Pilipinas.
Oo.
At yung mga bata, nasa Pilipinas din.
Correct.
Okay. Pwede raw ba niya isama?
Or kahit dito na sila, naka-visitor sila, let's say, and then dito na sila, spouse sponsorship siya. Tapos isama niya yung mga anak niya sa permanent residence application.
Okay. Anong sagot?
So, of course, yes. So, they will be your dependent children accompanying family members. Kung less than 18, kailangan mo ng signature from the other parent na IMM 5604, declaration from non-accompanying parent. Pero kung kasi sabay mo sila sa application mo kung less than 22 years old. So kung 21 and under sila, 22 years old and under, so then yung mga 18 to 21 years old, they need to provide the specific form, yung mga NBI, yung mga other requirements na same as you.
Alright, so that's good news sa mga may anak na below 22 years old, pwede pa nilang isama, tama?
For sure.
Sa kanilang permanent residency application. Maliwanag. Okay, papasok na tayo sa common question number 8.
Can I apply my spouse sponsorship outside Canada when I am here in Canada as a visitor?
Okay,
So,
so for example, ito ay nakarating dito, may tourist visa yung i-sponsoran, di ba? E nandito, tapos nag-decide sila, sige, sponsoran na kita.
oo.
So, ito yung
So,
tanong, di ba?
gusto niya sponsoran, yung gusto niya outside Canada process.
Mm.
You can apply as an outside Canada kasi before kino-consider yung processing time before kasi mas mabilis mag-process kung outside Canada. Pero ngayon dahil mas mabilis na yung inside. Na-notice ko lang mas mabilis yung inside Canada ngayon mag-approve.
I see. So walang problema to. The spouse sponsorship.
They can still, yes.
All right. Okay, very good. Okay, common question number 9.
So how long is the processing time of the spouse sponsorship? So sa website ngayon, nagsasabi na 9 months processing time.
All right, okay. That's
Used to be within the year, pero may mga case-to-case basis, may mga straightforward na application na natatapos siya ng within 2 months. Meron akong 2 months lang yung process.
2 months?
Na PR na, yes. So,
final mo within 2 months? May
yes.
sagot na. Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations. Ang galing mo talaga.
Wow. Talaga na.
Alright. Okay. Maliwanag na maliwanag. Papasok na tayo sa pang-10 common question about spouse sponsorship.
I gave birth to our son while my spouse sponsorship is in process. What will be his status then?
Good question. Interesting.
Yeah, so kung yung sponsor mo ay permanent resident status lang for now, you need to add on sa application mo doon sa pinaprocess mo na spouse sponsorship, magiging accompanying family member mo siya. So you have to provide your the necessary documents like yung passport niya, birth certificate to prove that that's your child. Of course, babayaran mo rin siya ng government fee which is 55, digital photo and other documents na request ng officer. Pero kung citizen na yung sponsor mo, bali magiging automatic siya na citizen din. So you have to apply only the Canadian citizenship certificate para maka-apply yung bata ng citizen Canadian passport.
Alright, so maliwanag na maliwanag. Kapag PR, meron pang requirements. Pag citizen na yung sponsor mo, halos wala na. Yan ang kagandahan kapag nag-ask kayo ng tulong sa RCIC. Direct to the point ang sagot. Okay, papasok na po tayo sa question number 11, common questions about spouse sponsorship.
I am not a techie person. Can I still submit my spouse sponsorship through a paper application? So, nag-announce sila nung as of September 23, 2022, you must now apply. It is mandatory to apply online for this program, for this spouse sponsorship. So, kung may mga reason na hindi ka maka-apply online and require accommodation kasi may disability ka, bulag ka or something na hindi mo kaya yung you can request for an application in another format like paper application. But you have to prove that you can't.
Yeah. So dito talaga pumapasok yung importance ng RCIC. Mas experience, mas madali pag RCIC ang gagawa ng yung application, sanay na sa online. Tama?
Tama.
Alright, number 12, common question.
Do I need to notarize the conversation that was translated?
Anong conversation to? Ito yung proof of relationship.
Yung kailangan kung pag outside Canada kasi ma-provide ka ng proof of conversation to prove that your relationship is genuine, di ba? Yung
mga sulat, yung mga messengers chat, yung sa Viber o WhatsApp, tama?
Yes.
O kaya sa email.
Oo. Actually, in my practice, hindi ko na siya ninonotarize. Kami na lang nagta-translate. I don't know, sa practice mo ba? Ikaw ba, pinapanotarize mo?
Hindi ko na rin pinapanotarize. Ano lang, yun lang, translation lang.
Oo, pina-translate. Kasi you are only required 10 pages screenshot of the conversation. So far na-approve naman. Pero yung iba parang, kasi nakalagay sa checklist kasi is kailangan na tawag dito, certified translation.
Siguro kapag yung application mo, maraming tanong, may mga questionable, siguro ultimo yon magiging questionable na rin, di ba? Nangyayari yan kapag nagdi-DIY ka, pero kapag dumaan kayo sa RCIC, smooth po yan, matutulungan kayo. Papasok
Correct.
na tayo sa question number 13.
Okay. I can't view my online application after I submitted my spouse sponsorship. How can I track my application? So, hindi mo ma-track yung application mo kung hindi ka pa naka-receive ng file number. Yung file number yung nag-start sa letter F, 00 something. So, mga 1 to 2 months ma-receive mo yung file number. That's the time na pwede mo siyang i-link doon sa either kung mayroon kang GCK account or sign-in partner, or kung may authorized representative ka, so ililink nila yon, ililink namin yon doon sa aming sariling authorized portal, and then we will inform you the status, or you can track your status by signing in to the tracker ng Family Plus sponsorship na tracker. Meron na sila na provide.
Alright, that's good. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so papasok na tayo sa commonly asked questions about spouse sponsorship, question number 14.
Okay, I have been in Canada since 2007. I lost my status 10 years ago. I got married a month ago. Can I still submit a spouse sponsorship without a status? Yes, for sure. Dito papasok yung public policy for spouse sponsorship that in the effect of this policy, ma-exempt yung applicants from the requirement doon sa regulation section 124 subsection B na hindi mo kailangang may status ka. It's not a requirement kasi nga na waive na ng policy na yan.
Kumbaga na-cure din.
Na-cure, oo.
Na-cure siya. Oo. Bakit ba nawawala ang status ng isang nandito na ano ba ang common reasons kasi?
Kasi siguro nung 2007, parang nag-enjoy, parang comfortable siya sa temporary resident niya, hindi niya na-extend, tapos hindi siya pag out of status ka kasi, meron ka pang 90 days to restore. Siguro hindi niya na-restore, hindi siya nag-seek ng advice or ng counsel sa any authorized representative, hindi niya alam kung ano nang gagawin, and then eventually nawala na yung status niya. And then
ito ba ay masasabi mo in short na TNT?
Yes, ito na yung TNT na sinasabi. Ano ba yung TNT? Tago ng tago. Wala silang healthcare, wala silang...
Napakahirap niyan, oo. Imagine mo.
Imagine 10 years wala kang status. Oo. But eventually, the spouse sponsorship saved him. And then, PR na siya. May anak na sila.
Oo, nag-cure. Alright, that's good. Okay, napaka-informative niya. Alam mo, kagandahan ng ating discussion, medyo meron kang mga case samples. Alright, number na tayo? Number 15.
Okay, number 15. So I received a procedural fairness letter from the IRCC that says my application is subject to Section 4 of Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations. Please explain what is my next step since I have only 30 days to respond.
Alright, bago mo sagutin yan, Sonny, ano ba ang procedural fairness letter?
Ito yung marireceive mo na letter na yung parang nakakatakot na letter na I will refuse your application if you don't respond within 30 days. Parang binibigyan ka pa ng opportunity na ma-heard yung bakit yung application mo hindi siya convincing na yung marriage mo is genuine. So yung Section 4 actually, ito yung marriage of convenience na tinutukoy na yung mga officer judgmental based on this regulation, ha? So parang ito yung sinasabi na your relationship was entered into primarily for the purpose of acquiring lang ng status or privilege under this act, or your relationship is not genuine. Bakit niya nasabi na hindi genuine? Kasi may mga sinabit ka siguro na mga documents or proof of relationship na hindi convincing doon sa officer. Right? So, actually, meron akong case na...
Yan. Maganda yan. Maganda yan.
Meron akong case recently na nag-DIY siya, no? May previous na sa refusal, siya lang gumawa. And then, sinabit niya ulit by herself. So, tapos, nung naka-receive na siya, sabi niya, hindi ko na to talaga kaya kasi baka ma-refuse ulit. So, parang nasisira na yung relationship nilang mag-asawa. So, tininan ko yung procedural fairness letter niya. Sabi doon, yung marriage certificate daw niya, parang pamadalian na kasal.
Okay?
Kasi prior of getting your marriage certificate, iba kasi yung marriage license sa marriage certificate. Sa Pilipinas, bago ka magpakasal, kukuha ka muna ng marriage license, 'di ba? So doon sa marriage certificate sa page 2 ba 'yon or page 1, sa pinakababa, mayroon dong acquired marriage certificate, marriage license, or nag-exempt siya. So, ma-exempt ka lang kung nagsama kayo ng 5 years. Nag-cohabit kayo or nag-live-in together kayo ng 5 years. May proof ka dapat.
Dito sa Canada?
Hindi, anywhere. Basta bago kayo magpakasal, nagsama kayo together. No? So, yung marriage certificate niya, walang tick, walang check na anything doon sa marriage certificate niya. So, and then, sabi, hindi daw continuing yung relationship nila. So we provided the documents na nagpapatunay. So yung continuing relationship, yung proof of conversation, yung proof na nagpapadala siya ng support doon sa asawa financially. So yun.
Okay, so ano nangyari?
Okay naman siya. Tapos dito na siya ngayon, yung client na yun.
Very good, very good. So, within 30 days, submit kayo ng evidence at yun na nga, nagkaroon ng positive outcome.
Actually, kung hindi mo ma-meet yung 30 days, parang bitin ka pa kasi hindi ka pa prepared, pwede ka mag-request na extension.
Alright, that's good to know. Okay, maliwanag po yun. Papasok na tayo. Napakaganda, no? Papasok na po tayo sa 16th out of the 20 common questions. Number 16 po.
Can I submit my spouse sponsorship without the marriage certificate? No, and yes, it depends. Kasi meron ako recently na hindi pa ready yung marriage certificate kasi sabi ng PSA, it will take 6 months to release the marriage certificate. So yung ginawa ko, in-upload ko lang muna yung marriage license niya na from the from the municipal, and then in-explain ko na we will provide the marriage certificate. So, okay naman siya. Pero kasi mas subject to R10 ka, diba? Regulation 10 na hindi siya complete. So, i-return nila yung application. Yun yung nakakatakot. Pero kung i-explain mo naman na we will provide, kasi nagmamadali yung yung sponsor na sabit mo na. So, okay. We submitted the application and then eventually dumating naman yung marriage certificate na naka-authenticate by the PSA.
Ang gaganda ng mga case.
Nagawa mo ba to before? Nagawa mo ba to before?
Yung naging may problema?
Yung nagsabit ka ng spouse sponsorship, wala pa yung marriage certificate?
Hindi, wala. Wala pa akong ganyang experience. Palaging meron.
Palaging meron.
Okay, so maliwanag. Papasok na tayo sa question number 17.
Number 17. My accompanying son is a minor and his dad is not willing to sign the form that he's allowing me to bring our son to Canada. What am I going to do?
Alright, so ito maliwanag na yung ini-sponsor nasa Pilipinas pa at yung anak nasa Pilipinas din. Ngayon, yung hiwalay na siya doon sa asawa niya, ayaw pirmahan na pinapasama niya yung minor child niya to Canada. Tama?
Mahirap yun kasi requirement talaga yun na kailangan mo i-provide yung IMM 5604.
Oo, yung consent.
Yung consent na inaalaw mo yung anak mo to migrate with you, to accompany to Canada. So mahirap kasi pero kung hindi talaga siya mag-sign yung other parent, you can provide the document of like a solo parent from the SWD or proof from the court na ikaw lang talaga yung nagpalaki doon sa bata. And or mayroon kang ipoprovide na mga proof of conversation na na-reach out mo yung other parent na hindi talaga siya pumapayag. So i-explain mo by making an affidavit or drafting an affidavit na ito talaga yung nangyari. So hindi ko talaga siya ma-provide. And okay naman, successful.
Nagkaroon ka ng ganitong case?
Yes, oo.
Ano nangyari?
Na-approve naman yung application kasi nga hindi talaga mag-provide.
Perfect, ang galing talaga. Alright, okay, yun ang kagandahan kapag RCIC. Medyo broad ang knowledge and experience. Malaki tulong. Okay, papasok na tayo sa number 18.
Can I leave Canada while my spouse sponsorship is in process? So kung
Lumalabas, nasa Canada yung ini-sponsoran. Okay?
oo, tapos may emergency lang kasi kailangan niya nang lumabas.
Gusto
Depende
niya
sa
ng Pilipinas.
depende sa length ng pag-uwi mo. Kung mag-stay ka doon ng 6 months, siguro hindi naman pwede yun kasi dito ka magko-confirm ng PR mo sa Canada kasi you submitted your application inside Canada. So, may mga successful naman ako na client na umuwi kasi may emergency. As long na may valid visa ka to come back or open work permit na ma-proof mo na babalik ka dahil may work ka na babalikan, or of course kasama mo yung husband mo, or kung hindi siya kasama, then you can explain doon sa border sa Pinas. Kaso stricto yung mga taga-Pilipinas ngayon, kailangan ng OEC, no? Kung mag-provide ka ng open work permit.
Open work permit.
Pero exempted naman kasi yung mga open work permit, so you can.
Yeah, true.
May risk lang ng konti. Pero makakabalik ka naman.
Alright, okay. Okay, maliwanag na maliwanag. Okay, number 19.
My daughter was not declared when I applied my permanent residence. Her mom was my girlfriend when we had her. So now that we're married with my daughter's mom, can I sponsor both of them together? Will they charge me with misrepresentation?
Okay, so ito lumalabas ay
Hindi siya na-declare, undeclared.
Nag-apply siya ng permanent resident, okay, yung parent. Pero meron siyang anak, hindi niya dineclare. Pero yung nanay niya, nung anak mo na yon na hindi mo dineclare, girlfriend mo noon nung nanganak.
Oo.
Pero
so nagpakasal na sila.
Kumbaga happy ang inyong naging outcome.
Correct.
Pwede mo ba siyang i-declare na pati yung asawa mo at yung anak?
Yes. Actually, marami nito kasi marami nito akong mga cases na aprubahan kasi like for example lang yung isang client, very common ito sa mga previous na caregiver na parents, tapos may mga minor sila, let's say nag-22 na or 23, tapos eventually nung pumunta na sila ng Canada, may mga anak pala na naiwan. So parang natakot itong si caregiver parent na yung anak, yung apo isasama kasi nga hindi daw ma-meet yung
LICO.
Oo, yung LICO doon sa application sa economic class. Oo. So hindi dineclare yung apo. So ngayon, nag-spouse sponsorship na tong anak niya, itong sponsor. Bali meron tayong provision kasi ni-research ko to doon sa regulation, IRPR Section 70, subsection 4, yung kay Kong versus Canada na case. Yun itong precedent case na to. Yung sabi doon na a foreign national who is an accompanying family member of a foreign national who is issued permanent resident visa shall be issued a permanent resident visa if the following examination it is established that the accompanying family member is not inadmissible. Ginamit ko tong precedent case at na-approve. So, nagko-contradict siya sa 117.9D na undeclared dependent, no? So, however, the intent of this, yung 117.9D is that the sponsor, kay sponsor lang to, may not sponsor a person as a member of the family class. Pero, yung binigay na example sa taas, yung child is not, yung anak niya, hindi siya sponsored applicant. Kundi, dependent child niya siya ng accompanying family member siya ng principal applicant. So that's why ma-approve si anak. Di maganda talaga na kung hindi mo siya na-declare, tapos magpakasal kayo nung nanay nung bata na yun na hindi mo na-declare, ma-approve yung application.
Okay, oo.
Very very confusing siya, pero kung may mga ganitong kayong kaso, contact us. Diba?
Kaya mga kababayan, ano mapapayo mo ba bago tayo pumunta doon sa last question? Ano ba mapapayo mo when it comes to yung mga nag-a-apply o gumagawa ng application na parang ayaw nilang i-declare yung kanilang family member.
Kailangan mo talaga maging honest sa application mo. Kaya sa form na binibigay namin sa mga client, kailangan maging true ka sa fini-fill outan mo na information kasi or else magte-take ka ng risk ng misrepresentation.
Speaking of misrepresentation na sinabi mo na pwedeng maipataw sa kanila for not declaring a family member during their initial application, ano ba ibig sabihin ng misrepresentation?
You're withholding or not disclosing any information from your file. So, mababan ka ng 5 years.
Mababan kayo.
Simple. Yun lang kasimple. Di ba nakakatakot? Mababan ka ng 5 years kung matcha-charge ka ng misrepresentation.
That is true. That is true. Napakaliwanag. Nandito na po tayo sa huling question natin na very interesting, very informative. Siksik Liglig, courtesy of Sunny Young. Number 20.
So, actually, dapat mayroon tayong itong different session ask ka ng someone na magdi-discuss this to. Okay, dinaano ko lang to kasi kasama siya sa family class. What is the difference daw ng conjugal partner and common law partner? So si common law partner, you have been in the relationship and living in a relationship for at least 1 year continuously. Nagsama kayo together. Pwede siyang magiging opposite sex mo or same-sex relationship. So si conjugal naman, a person outside Canada who has had a binding relationship with the sponsor for at least 1 year but could not live with their partner. May mga reasons kung bakit hindi sila makakasama. Like for example, may sa Russia yung aplikante o may war, hindi sila makasama. Or sa Pinas, pwede mo siya magamit na matagal yung annulment sa Pinas. Pero may relationship ka na dito sa sponsor na Canadian citizen sa Canada. Tapos may anak kayo, na meron kayong property together. Tapos imposible magpakasal kayo kasi kahit hindi pa kayo nagsama ng 1 year, pwede mo siya ma-considered as conjugal partner.
Okay mga kababayan, so napakaliwanag. Kumbaga natalakay natin ito sa number 20. Yung iba pa na form ng partners. So, thank you so much, Sunny. Natalakay mo yung spouse, ibig sabihin asawa, sponsorship. Yung panghuli na sinabi nga niya, maganda magkaroon ng different session, yung common law partner
kasi marami pa siya.
Yung common law partner sponsorship, ibig sabihin ito yung nag-live-in sa term ng Pilipinas. Pwede mo siya ma-sponsor basta magkasama kayo ng 1 year. At yung tinatawag na conjugal partner na hindi kayo nag-satisfy hindi nyo na-satisfy yung requirement na 1 year living together because of circumstances beyond your control.
Yes, correct.
Napaka-interesting na pag-uusapan. Promise, magkakaroon tayo ng episode dyan. So sana dito tayo matapos. Ano ang iyong payo sa mga planong mag-sponsor ng kanilang spouse at advice mo doon sa principal applicants na sponsoran?
Simple lang talaga kasi para hindi mo ma-miss yung lahat ng documents na i-upload mo kasi online na tayo, mandatory na siya online application. Always use the proper document checklist as a reference to support your application, including the updated forms, kung anong updated forms and attached documents. So, gamitin mo yung checklist na yun as a reference to your application to make sure na yung relationship nyo is genuine. Kasi yung basihan ng spouse sponsorship, di ba, sabi ko kanina yung intro ko, yung pagmamahal, power of love. So, kailangan ma-prove mo yun kung bakit mahal mo tong asawa mo. May documents kayo na meron kayong documents na genuine yung relationship nyo. Kasi ito yung pinaka-easiest way of submitting a application actually for permanent residence. Kasi sa economic, yung sa express entry, kailangan mag-English exam pa. Kailangan mo yung mga education credential assessment. Dito sa spouse sponsorship, pag-ibig lang ang labanan, genuine relationship.
Kapagkat ang Canada,
diba, Robs?
ang Canada immigration, hindi pinaghihiwalay ang pamilya. Meron kampanya na family reunification kung pwede magkasama.
Yun yung objective, tama.
Kaya huwag kayong maging dishonest sa inyong application. Seek the help of a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. Saan kanila ko kontakin, Sunny, kung sakaling gusto magpatulong sa spouse sponsorship?
They can contact us sa aming email address info@sny-immigration.ca, or you can call us sa 780-803-0211 or sa landline namin 587-520-0211.
Thank you so much, Sunny, for joining us.
Thank you, Rovic, for
And
having me.
Yes, and Pilipinas, sa lahat ng mga i-sponsoran dyan, we will see you in Canada. And that's a wrap. Thank you for watching, everyone. ABC All About Canada, a program that informs, educates, and inspires our fellow Filipinos with concerns happening in the Philippine-Canadian community. My name is Rovic Canono. I'm your host. I will see you again.